Want to continue to get more reaction too? Let's bring in CTV News political analyst and former Deputy Chief of Staff to Finance Minister Bill Morneau, Sharan Kaur. Sharan, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, more reaction too, and I think that we've been talking about the Prime Minister's team doing a pretty good job of keeping expectations low heading into this trip to China, and alas, here we are with this deal. What do you make of what you've heard and what you've seen so far?
Well, I got to say that clip you played of Donald Trump, I did not expect that. It was an interesting quote to come out of him. And as you both just discussed, it might just change. But listen, I think everyone knew that the PM going to China was going to lead to some sort of announcement related to canola or related to EVs. And I don't think everyone realized the size and scale of what that could look like. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who come out really concerned about what this looks like. But we have to remember there's a quota at the number of vehicles they will allow in. And as you just discussed, the price point of these vehicles will be very different. As someone who drives an EV vehicle, the price point that they're at right now it's not heavily accessible to a lot of Canadians. So there is an aspect of how does this play into the overall not only diversification of trade with other partners, but on an affordability level if we want to transition people and a lower carbon future. So I think there's more details that are going to come, but this isn't a free-for-all for China. There is a quota on it.
Right. And outside of that too, Sharon, we talk about the impact, especially in the U.S., right? Donald Trump's maybe initial response, surprising. But as we talk about, sure, this is going to help the canola farmers, and I don't want to discount that. And the agriculture sector certainly understanding that. It was up to $2 billion or so of an impact if those tariffs weren't changed and if they weren't removed. But now you look at the auto industry as well, where if we can't negotiate and renegotiate CUSMA, or what happens with that relationship here in the coming months, and how that can impact the auto sector too.
Absolutely. And listen, it's not abnormal to have one premier extremely frustrated with a deal and another semi-happy about it. I think we have an auto sector that is heavily reliant on the U.S. A vehicle crosses the border between Canada and U.S. 7 times. Highly integrated markets. But we're also living in this new reality where we cannot trust our partner down south. So the federal government is going to have to look at what can be to stabilize the auto sector here domestically, whether it's to further integrate it domestically here in Canada. And there are really great advocates like the Flavio Volpes who are out there who are going to make the case of what needs to happen. But I would be shocked to believe that the government doesn't have something planned out on how they're going to help, not necessarily keep the auto sector whole, but help with the diversification and with this announcement.
And ultimately, just before I let you go to, Sharon, what this means for Canada, China now moving forward. We had Lana Payne on earlier too, that she's concerned about, as at least according to her, the Chinese have done in other markets, that they're going to try to increase that impact. And right now it's at about 3% for the EVs coming in, and they're going to look to increase that. Does it have to be a concern, or does Canada really need to be looking outside of the United States as the Prime Minister looks globally too for trade partners?
We have to. I think the days of having a stable partner with the U.S., they're gone. We're always going to have tariffs, and as long as Donald Trump is there, we're always going to be in this precarious position. Canada needed to rebuild its relationships with China, given the last time a PM was there in 2017. Now, we don't see eye to eye on a lot, and there's going to have to be a lot of discussions around how we move past some of our disagreements, but we have to diversify, and I think that's what the Prime Minister did with this announcement.
CTV News political analyst Sharan Kaur with us today. Thanks, Sharon, for this. Appreciate it.